the former acting national intelligence, and now on the special envoy to Serbia and Kosovo,
Yeah.
He's making me look like a slob here.
Minnesota. Go right to Minnesota.
We need to elect this guy, right?
Yeah.
This is amazing. I love it when we have people who step up and decide to run. So Ben, thank you so much. I think you're going to win.
Thank you.
I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for coming out. You know, President Trump totally supports gays and lesbians. The reason I'm out here, the reason I'm able to travel to all these different states is because President Trump said, get out there and win the gays, come on. Get to work. In the Oval Office, he's fantastic. He'll sometimes will be around Secretary of Defense, Secretary of State, Mike Pence, all these guys, and he'll say, Rick, come on, tell them. The gays love me, right? I said, Mr. President, you have no idea. The gays love you. They love you. I just want to tell you why I love President Trump. In 1992, I sat at the Republican convention in Houston and I watched as Pat Buchanan gave a speech about the future of the Republican Party. And he basically said that the gays were not welcome in the Republican Party. That was in 1992, and I decided that I was going to fight and change the Republican Party, and I was not going to leave. And the reason why is because I was the consistent conservative. I was the one who was fighting for small government and personal responsibility. I was the one who wanted to be treated like an individual, not like the group. This is America. We should celebrate diversity and tolerance. In 1993, after Bill Clinton was elected, I was in Washington, D.C., and I did the March on Washington. First ever March on Washington. Did anybody do that? Gays and lesbians from across the country came to Washington to demand our rights. And you know what sign I carried? Diversity and tolerance. That was 1993. I never, ever imagined that in 2020, yesterday's champions of diversity would be today's intolerance.
Yep. Amen.
This is what we're faced with. I recently had an NBC reporter ask me, how many gays and lesbians are in the Trump administration? And I said, I have no idea. He said, well, that's the problem, because in the Obama administration, there were 2,410. And I said, who kept the list? And how embarrassing that you had to get put on a list. And did you go around asking everybody?
Yeah.
Because I would be offended. I don't want to be treated like I have to sit at the rainbow table down the hallway where you glitter it up at the last minute after all of the decisions have been made. You know, the gay left comes at me all the time and they say, you worked at the State Department for more than 10 years, and under the Trump administration, you fired the gay czar at the State Department. And I said, you're right, we did. Because you want to know something? I've worked at the State Department for all those years. And the Middle East Bureau, and the Near East Bureau, and the European Bureau, they're deciding all of the substantive issues. They're doing all the work. All the stuff is done in the bureaus. And under the left, at the last minute, they walk down the hallway to the rainbow table after the decision is already done, after the policy is already cooked, and they ask for a little glitter on the end. They take some pictures with a little bit of glitter. Donald Trump does not want us to be at the rainbow table down the hallway. He wants us to be at the cabinet table. And that's exactly what he did. And by the way, when I was marching in Washington in 1993 for our rights, That's exactly what we were asking for. We were asking in 1993 for the larger group to understand that our voices were minority voices, but to appreciate different voices, tolerate different voices. Inherent in that word tolerance is the word tolerate. What that means is I don't understand you, I may not totally agree with you, but I'm going to be able to sit down, listen, maybe learn, and then I'm going to respond. No one wants to be silenced, but everybody has to also listen. You have to listen to what I have to say. You don't have to agree with it. The gay left wants us all to think the same. They're telling the religious community, you have to actually jump up and down and clap when gay people walk in the room. That's not what diversity and tolerance is. We can disagree. You know, I got into a lot of trouble because people were asking my opinion about, I think it was in Indiana, there was a pizza parlor. They got in trouble because they wouldn't cater a gay wedding. And my response was, first of all, I don't really think you're gay if pizza's your wedding. I'm just going to doubt the whole premise of the story because I don't know any gays for their wedding that's going to say we're catering pizza. So I think it's a setup. And by the way, how many other pizza places are in town? Can the gays get pizza from somewhere else? Because if they can, great. That pizza place that doesn't want to serve us, let's see if through supply and demand, they have the ability to appeal to the masses. We don't demand that every butcher sell bacon, do we? No. We let people be different. Sometimes you go to Walmart, you can't find something, but you can go to Target and find it's there. This is America. We are absolutely the greatest country in the world. We are not anti-gay. We have problems, and when we have problems, we have a court that can fix them. We have a system where you can appeal. But I reject what the gay left is selling us. And by the way, they've all but given up, but they're not telling you. GLAAD right now, it's an awful organization. First of all, it's designed to make sure that media companies have gay representation. What media company doesn't? I live in Los Angeles. You can't get jobs at media companies unless you're gay. I know a whole bunch of straight women who are like, you can't believe all the gay guys who are gay jobs. I mean, media companies, it's a joke to think that they need to be pushed to tell the stories of gay people. GLAAD should have shut down years ago. Instead, they've morphed into a pro-abortion, open borders, all about illegal immigration, all of the issues of the left. And they're jamming it down our throats like we're supposed to be good gays if we follow what they say. It's all these lefty policies. That's crazy. We have to reject that. I've watched since 1992, little by little by little. We've gotten so much better in this country on gay rights. The Republican Party has changed dramatically. But you know who won't let it change? The Democrats. Because they're losing votes and money and leverage. They're now the ones standing in the way of getting rid of this issue as a political issue. It used to be the Republicans that made this a political issue. Now it's the Democrats who make this a political issue. There's not a single Republican elected in Washington, D.C. that could articulate an anti-gay position. And you want to know why? They'd be run out by our own party leaders. Ron Romney would not put up with that. Kevin McCarthy would not put up with that. We have a whole bunch of leaders who are policing ourselves. We've changed, and they don't want us to change. So what they do is they tell you that Donald Trump is anti-gay.